Thank you for joining us now. Let's head straight to the equities market. The Nigerian Exchange Limited witnessed a decline on Wednesday due to selling pressure, putting an end to its 4-day winning streak. The benchmark index experienced a 0.5% decrease, closing at 65,687.16 basis points. Additionally, the market capitalization decreased by 35.75 decreased to 35.75 trillion during the period. Thus, the month-to-date return and year-to-date return moderated to 7.7% and 28.2% respectively. Now, a total of 500.4 million units of shares valued at 7.14 billion naira were exchanged in about 7,000 dues on Wednesday. Just take a look at the top 5 gainers, and then of course to just show you as on the screen for you there, an NCR, Courtville, Seplat, FTN, Cocoa and Japan Gold were among the top gainers for the day. A flip to the other side now. Take a look at the top decliners. Cadbury, Unilever, Multiverse, Omatech and Champion Breweries were all in the red. Looking at Unilever losing about 175 kobo and Multiverse losing about 30 kobo, closing at 271 kobo. So that's a quick look, a glance at the top 5 gainers and top 5 losers as for today. So it's time to bring in an analyst now as we'll take a look at this. Mr. Adebola Adabale is a head researcher at Atlas Portfolio Securities. He joins us now. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Adabale. We appreciate you for coming on board. Take a look at the market.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, good morning. All right, so take a look at the market yesterday. It's the first decline in the week after, ending a straightforward section of rally there. So talk to us for yesterday. What do you think was responsible for the decline witnessed?
Okay, thank you very much. So what we saw yesterday, we can see that investors are beginning to react to the hike in MPR rates. And also what played out yesterday was the fact that some companies are beginning to release their performance in the first 6 months of the year. I will just mention Cadbury. So investors are beginning to look for other options because some of these companies were not performing very well. For instance, Cadbury was part of the top decliners yesterday, and from their financials, both the drop, they had almost 500% drop in their profits and earnings per share. So investors are beginning to weigh the options, looking at the MPR rates, looking at companies' financials, and they are beginning to look at other investment opportunities. So we saw profit taking yesterday, and it's likely we are going to see the same today too.
It's likely. So with these numbers that we are seeing and the fact that the market is reacting to the outcome of the Monetary Policy Committee, so talk to us how you think investors are repositioning their portfolios. Yeah, we do know that there was selling pressure, or will I say yesterday. So talk to us about this as well, how they can navigate further with their portfolios in the days ahead.
So my take about that is that investors are going to look for investments that dollar bond. Looking at the exchange rate right now, you will agree with me that it's better to save your money in dollars right now. Looking at the gap between the Naira and dollar, which has, of course, it moderated yesterday, but it has been increasing over time. So investors are looking for dollar funds, and also they are looking into the real estate.
Real estate. So, talk to us about other sectors that will need to start looking. Yeah, you talk about the fact that some companies are beginning to release their first half of the year result into the market. And so how are those numbers faring? Are they impressive? And how are investors taking these numbers?
Okay, so last week we saw First Bank was the first to release, and First Bank performed very well, and we saw a reaction on their shares because there was a little bit rally when the results came out. Investors' position, despite the fact that the stock has been rallying since President Tinubu's inaugural statement, we saw a little bit of rally when the results came out. And also, we saw some that were out 2, 3 days ago, Cadbury, Unilever, and Livestock and the rest. Some performed very well, but the likes of Cadbury and Unilever performed averagely, but Cadbury was the performance was down. So I could say that that could be the reason why we saw sell-off in Cadbury's shares yesterday. And so far, we just have little that released their result, and the result was not too impressive. It was just an average performance so far, apart from the like of First Bank that I've seen so far, and maybe EcoBank too. EcoBank performed very well. They were able to manage a growth both in their top line and bottom line items. So EcoBank also did very well. And so we can see the reason why we've been seeing rally in most of the banking shares. Because First Bank, EcoBank, the result was okay. And it's likely the rally might not stop just yet in the banking shares.
Okay. Okay, so let's look at today, excuse me, today's market. So what are your expectations today? What's your outlook for today, and how you think the market is likely to react further? We do understand that the president is expected to release his ministerial list. Perhaps this National Assembly is supposed to also receive that from the president and today. So how all of these will play in the market is what we don't know yet. But talk to us about your outlook.
Okay, so I initially wanted to mention investors' confidence in our market. After the president's inaugural statement, investors' confidence towards the capital market was high because of the reform put in place by the president. So after these reforms, investors were expecting a backup plan, and so far we've not seen any to mention. So it might be that investors are beginning to withdraw from the market, thereby taking profit. Because right now, looking at the market is also going down today. We never can tell. It might pick up maybe when some of the companies release their performance. But so far, the market is going bearish. And we hope to see a positive sign. Maybe talking about when the president releases his ministerial list and the confidence of the investors are restored, or good performance from most of these shares.
Good performance from most of it, and a good place to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Ademola Adewale, Head Research at Atlas Portfolio. We appreciate you for coming on the program. Do have a great day.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, and you too.